I need everyone's help with this because I think this has been a very difficult question to answer because one Tolo sent me this in the midst of the ass whipping they gave to Washington. Mike McCarthy needs to get credit for this division title. And I was like, very good question. That's a topic. Let's fill in the blank then. Mike McCarthy did what with this football team, or his signature on this football team has been what? Because with Jason Garrett, I think the signature was they were always going to play hard. Like, we never came in here throughout a decade, I didn't, and accused the Cowboys of quitting. You know, Jason was always going to have them playing hard. He was never going to give you a tremendous coaching, X's and O's, game management advantage. That was never going to happen. What has stood out from McCarthy? Because it's been difficult for me to wrap my hand. I know I have smaller hands, but it's been difficult.
Oh, look at you, self-deprecation. Good for you, Sean.
It's been difficult for me to define. You have it?
I think for me, it's the idea that he just has gotten out of the way.
I agree.
Now, that's hard. Now, it's one of those things where you tell your leaders, say, hey, look, put your employees in the best position to succeed. That's much easier said than it is actually done. And Mike McCarthy, I think, has done the best job of empowering, and you can use it as a cliche or whatever, but I think he's done the best job of empowering Dan Quinn, empowering Kellen Moore, and even to a degree, you know, John Bones Fossil, to be able to do what they do and feel comfortable with executing the plans that they are deciding to put out for their players, or the individual plans that they have for Micah Parsons, or in John Bones Fossil case, you know, what he's doing with his special teams, and Kellen Moore, obviously, you know, with the offense. And you need that CEO type of coach who understands how to allow his coordinators and assistants to do what they do, and then support them based on the decisions and plans that they're making. And I think that's been the best thing that Mike McCarthy's done this year, is just get out of the way and let you guys do what they do.
I totally agree. I can't come up with anything better than that. Is that a strong enough attribute? Number one, if I say what has he done best? He got out of the way. That doesn't sound like the greatest compliment.
Well, I think leadership styles, you know, change based on the personnel that you have. You have to be able to understand who you're working with and what allows them to be most successful in certain situations. And I think the way that he was able to allow Dan Quinn, bringing him in, Kellen Moore, helping him along the way, because at points he's got to be able to help these guys make certain decisions. He's got to be able to be a game manager. He's got to be able to manage situations. But more importantly, how do you allow your coordinators to be in positions with the players that you have to make the best decisions possible? And sometimes that means just move out of the way.
Yeah.
Like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Sign of a secure person.
Exactly.
And there were some questions about Mike McCarthy's insecurity behind the scenes with the Aaron Rodgers drama and all that stuff, and some of the things I was hearing in Oxnard at training camp. But there's a lot of people who have to remind you they're in charge. There's a lot of people who have to beat their own chest, and they have to say, don't forget about me. Don't forget about me, because they're insecure. And to allow Kellen Moore to get the credit for the offense, and to allow Dan Quinn to get all this shine and spotlight for the defense, that's a props to Mike McCarthy, and I don't have a greater compliment. Is there anything on the fan text, I'm curious, in the credit that McCarthy deserves for this season so far?
Yeah, I think there's a couple that are really good. From the 214, you know, just changing the environment and the attitude on the team is different. I think that's, you know, he doesn't micromanage is what they're trying to get across there. From the 817, I think Mike McCarthy's been aggressive in his game management decisions. The style of calling a game has made these players, you know, buy in it and believe in themselves. And I think to piggyback off of that,
the Cowboys do definitely seem more aggressive than under the Jason Garrett tenure.
Yeah. And I think, you know, for McCarthy,
although Jason had some good offenses too.
Yeah, and they played hard for, you know, Jason Garrett, you know, as you mentioned. And I think a lot of the things, you know, we've heard about Mike McCarthy too, is that he's a player's coach, believes in making sure that his players are healthy, you know, mentally and physically. Players like to play for him, and he cares about the health and of his players, which goes a long way as far as being able to create that buy-in for your football team. And it seems like Mike McCarthy's done a good job of that so far with this team this year.